أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وسهل مخرجهم واحشرنا معهم وارزقنا شفاعتهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين المنتخبين المستقين الأخيار. بسم الله سيما بعد، أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتبارك وتعالى: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وسهل مخرجهم واشهرنا معهم وارزقنا شفاعتهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. It is our continuation of episode 16 on the issue of Shia'ism, the natural outcome of Islam. As you might be witnessing, our all friends, it's a very breezy, windy, drizzling weather over here in Hyderabad. It's really worth to enjoy, and especially at a time when heading towards each a new episode of the subject which we have taken. The subject is more beautiful than the weather conditions which I am narrating and what you are witnessing over here. So, in continuation of our previous episode, as we have continued with the ayah sharifa, Inna ad-dina 'inda Allah al-Islam, to Allah Azza wa Jal, the most wished, the most liked, the most loved deen is Islam, because it is the only deen that has continuation in history of the past to link it with the history of the future, from Adam alayhi salam till the 12th Imam, up to the era of dawn of his reappearance, and then followed by the day of judgment. Of course, before that is the era of Raj'ah, that we will discuss sometime when we will come to discuss on the issue of Tawheed. For now, Islam is the continuation of the past of history to the future of history to come. Now we have narrated and have reached in our episode 15 up to certain features. Now over here we would like to add and continue from on the characteristic features of Shia Islam, or the Shia'ism, that it has taken its tenets of principles, usul ad-din, usul al-fiqh, the principles of jurisprudence, as we have cited from Quran Majid ayat al-Sharifa, and the saying number 274 in Nahj al-Balagha, that out of four, the two usul al-arba'at al-amaliyah, these are taken from the one saying of Imam Ali. This is the Balagha, that only one saying has given the 50% of the four of the principles of ijtihad applied. Because in usul al-arba'at al-ilmiyah we have Quran, Hadith, Ijma', Aql, whereas in usul al-arba'at al-amaliyah we have istishab, asalatul bara'a, ihtiyat, takhir, and all these four, the two are taken from the saying of Imam Ali alayhi salam, saying number 274. For the rest of the two, we will discuss at that time, appropriate time, when we will come from where we have taken from Quran and Kalam al-Aimma, Kalam al-Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Kalam al-Aimma alayhi salam. But for now, we will continue. For example, the all jurisprudential issues of like Kitab al-Tahara to Ibadah, Ahkam, all are taken from the 12 Aimah alayhi salam. So we have got one door, or the one place from where we have taken usul al-din or qaid, number 1, usul al-fiqh, number 2, and fiqh ahkam al-shariat al-mutahhara from one and the same door of Ahl al-Bayt, the Quran Sharif and Ahl al-Bayt. We have not gone to different doors like our brothers in usul al-din, in qaid. They are divided into 2 schools. Actually there are 3, but the third one is now almost obsolete. The 3 are Ash'arites, Mu'tazilites, Maturidites. Out of these, the first 2 are very much pronounced, very much accepted by our brothers, whereas the other one which we have are the Jafarite school. And in the fiqh, they are divided into 5 schools. Either they are Abu Hanifa's followers, Imam Abu Hanifa, or Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and so on. Now out of these 4, they have the 5th one also, and that is the school of Ahl Hadith. So we find in usul they are either Ash'arites or Mu'tazilites. They have 2 schools. And as far as fiqh, they are divided into 5 schools. Whereas if you look into the Imamiya school, you will find that there are only one door, the door of Ahl al-Bayt, that they have taken usul, the principles, or usul fiqh, or principles of usul al-din, usul al-fiqh, and the fiqh, ahkam al-sharia. This is one of the characteristic features. And over and over in history, over and again in history, we find that all the leaders or the rulers of other schools, they have always taken advices, counsels, helps from Aimma alayhi salam of their times. For example, if you look to the book Judgments of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, it's a very good compendium of Islamic judiciary principles in Qadaba. And that where we find that this Qadaba, in which the helps are taken by the first ruler, the second ruler, the third ruler. But you will never find that Imam Ali has ever gone to any of the scholars, alim, to seek their help in any matter. In the same way, we find that when during the time of Abdul Malik al-Marwan, there came the need of having the Muslims their own currency, the coin. They had to take the help of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. And at that time, okay, before that let me tell the help given by Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he helped by his peace treaty, Imam Hassan alayhi salam, to safeguard, to protect the Sharia, had to give his martyrdom to help Islam stand firm on its own. And then we find that how Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, Sayyid Sajjad, has fortified the unity of Muslims. The evidence we can produce is from his dua number 27 in Sahih Kamilat al-Sajjadiyah, on which I have also given one lecture over it. And when the time came for Muslims to realize that they must have their own currency, their own coin, Abdul Malik bin Marwan, he sought the help of Imam Ali ibn Hussain al-Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. And at the time, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir al-Islam was very small, young, in the biological life, what we can say. But for Imam, it is not that case. So Imam Sajjad salam has said the ruling institution that seek the help of my son. Then Imam Muhammad Baqir salam has given the advice that you make one side of the coin with La ilaha illallah, the other side of the coin with Muhammad Rasulullah. And when the time came, a tough time came from the Romans, that they sent emissaries, their diplomatic mission to stop it. Otherwise, an aggression will be affecting the Muslim rule if you introduce your own currency. Then the Imam Muhammad Baqir guided them how to protect the Muslim Ummah at that time, and very beautifully, very tactfully, with the very beautiful diplomatic way, the situation was averted and Muslims were protected. And how we see that Imam Muhammad Baqir and Imam Ja'far have helped in propagating knowledge, disseminating ilm al-irfan of deen wal dunya. And then we find that how Imam Abu Hanifa, for 2 years, he was the student and pupil of Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam, for which he has said that had I not been 2 years a student of Imam Ja'far Sadiq salam, Farzand Rasul, son of Rasul, I could have been destroyed and damaged. So all these are students, all these have taken helps from Aimah alayhi salam. But show one instance where Aimah alayhi salam have taken help from any others. Now what this proves, that in the manzilati, in the station and place of ahadiyya at Zat Bari Ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jal is Samad. We say in Urdu, Benayaz, who never seeks help from anyone, and all are dependent on him, and he is not dependent on anyone else. This is for Allah. But when we come to realize it in the situation of, we say, accidental world or hadithiyah, the same situation as Mazhar Sifat Ilahiyah, we find that Allah has given them this sort of samadiyah for makhluk, that among the makhluk, among the creatures, Ahl Bayt alayhi salam are independent of any makhluk. They are dependent only of Allah, but never of any makhluk. Whereas we, the makhluk, we are dependent of each other. We seek help from each other in our day-to-day matters, in our school homeworks, in college preparations, in our profession, in our expertise of subjects that we do have. But Ahl Bayt alayhi salam are those from whom only help is sought, but they do not help sought. They seek help only from Allah Azza wa Jal. Whereas we seek help from Allah Azza wa Jal as Ainazat help, and from Allah's appointed to those who can dispense their help, we seek their help from Ahlul Bayt, because Ahlul Bayt do not help at all independently of Allah at all. That we should keep in mind. So there is always a connection. They are never disconnected with Allah Azza wa Jal. If we can't disconnect it, then that is ghulu, and that is shirk. So we have taken from one door, as Rashid Tarawi Allama has, who was once in his young age was a Sunni Muslim, later he changed to Shiite Muslim Islam. He said to pronounce himself as Pehchan lo Rashid Tarabi hai mera naam, ek dar pa zindagi hai meri dar badar nahi. And that is the reason Imamiyah do not go to any other door when they have taken the door of Ahlul Bayt for usul deen wa aqaid, for usul fiqh, for ahadith, for fiqh and jurisprudential issues, so on and so forth. They only have one door to go, which Rasul Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Quran have guided us to take, and they're Ahlul Bayt. And among the different schools, there were only the Aimah alayhi salam, like Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Hassan Mushtaba alayhi salam, Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Only these were present during the time of Rasul Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But whereas the founders of all other schools, whether the school in Usuluddin and Qaid of Asharite, Imam Ashari, or Imam Mu'tazili, or in fiqh, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and al-Hadith. All they were not present during the Rasul times. So these are all the later time effects. They have no connection to the life of Rasulullah. They have not met, any one of them have never met, because they were not born. So those who were present during the Rasul time and who met, they were the Ahlul Bayt, in which there are Ali, Imam Taqin, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, Imam Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salam, Imam Hussain alayhi salam. There were three of the Ahlul Bayt, they were present during the Rasul's time. In the spiritual growth and in the spiritual exercises, in the spiritual schools, we find therefore that all schools of mysticism of our brothers, they all converge into Imam Ali alayhi salam. So whether it is irfan or fiqh, tasawwuf, mysticism, usul fiqh, aqaid, wal usul, they all end up, and they have all taken help of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, specifically of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salam. It is not this, the help was sought during this time only. It was in the time of Imam Taqi Jawad alayhi salam, when the need was there to specify the area of the term and coining the term yad during the time of cutting off hands of a thief, that where jurists were in dispute to each other and they were not in a position to come to conclusion, they sought the help of Imam Muhammad Taqi salam, in which he said that only the fingers of the thief will be cut, not from shoulders, not from elbow, not from wrist, only the fingers. The reason is that among the 7 parts which are wajib in salat are the palms. If one has done theft one time, it does not mean that he should be deprived the whole lifetime from the palm which is wajib in putting on the ground during sujood. So he may not be deprived of that. So he said that, and the theft is done only by the grip which one has, and that is by the fingers. So this was accepted by all, one and all. So throughout we see that Aimma alayhi salam have given help to those who have sought help from them. But they have not taken help from anyone. They have not gone to any worldly school. Nobody shows. Even if one brings, there will be very weak report of any school or teacher. But Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, for whom, when Allah is saying, وَجَعَلْنَا أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ, when the teacher is Allah, is there any need after Allah has become the teacher? Is there any need for one to go to any other teacher? Can any teacher be ma'aballah, a'udhu billah, equal to Allah? Right? Now, in the conclusion, as we have said in the previous episode, let me recount and let me repeat that again, that there is a relationship between us and our all Muslim brothers. We follow the teachers, the Ahlul Bayt, and our brothers, all schools within the Sunnism, they follow their imams, their leaders, and who are directly like Imam Abu Hanifa. They were the students of Aimma alayhi salam, like Imam Muhammad, Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam, and other Aimma are indirectly students of Imam Ja'far Sadiq salam, because Imam Ja'far Sadiq salam student pupil was Imam Hanifa, and the others, they were teachers of Imam Abu Hanifa, like Imam Malik and Imam Shafi'i of Imam Malik. In that way, directly, he was only Imam Abu Hanifa, the student, and others were indirectly students of Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. It is even now today, help is sought from the Shiite world. I remember in 1973 there was a seminar in Aligarh on the issue of opening the door of ijtihad. First of all, let me tell that the door of writing down of a hadith was stopped by Hazrat Umar. But the Shiite world had never done that. For that we will discuss on a separate, in a separate episode, inshallah ta'ala mustan. What was the reason that Hazrat Umar has stopped, what justification he had, and why Imam Ali continued and encouraged his followers, his lovers, the Shias, to record down the hadiths of Rasulullah. That will be a separate issue. That we will discuss it later. In the 1973 seminar, that was to urge out the need of ijtihad to open the door in Sunnite world, in which great scholars, intellectuals of the Sunnite world were there. They presented the repertoire that is with me, the seminary repertoire, the journal, and in which from the Shiite side, Dr. Badrul Hasan Sahab Marhum, who was the head department of Arabic and Islamic studies in Banaras Hindu University, he was invited to present his papers, and his both papers were very well received in the entire seminar, and the points were measured which he had clubbed. And in the light of his papers, all of the seminar attended scholars, they took his stand that without the help of Shia ijtihad and Shia jurisprudence, we cannot open door of ijtihad. The reason is that they have got a great gap that cannot link from their stand viewpoint from present era till the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is possible only with the Shiites, because in them, throughout the history from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the Quran revelation time till the present date, there had not been any interruption in the chain to continue and take their help. That is the reason Shiite ijtihad is mandatory and a must for to seek their help in that. And the three features which the Imamiyah school differs with all other other schools within Islamic fold or Islamic folds of fiqh jurisprudence, fiqh school, aqaidi school, are that the Shias only have the door of ijtihad open. And these are the words not of mine, these are the words of Kaleem Siddiqui, who was an activist as well as head department political science, London University, Professor Kaleem Siddiqui. He says why the Shias have been able to bring the revolution successfully. This even has been said and is somewhere else in his talk by Maulana Abul Ala Maududi as well, that only why the Shias have brought the revolution, because they have those three things which our Sunni world lack it. Our world lacks it, and that is, first of all, ijtihad, the research, and second, marja'iyya or taqleed, that is a figure, an institution that unifies the ummah, that they have in mujtahid, taqleed, marja'iyya, that centralizes a movement to come, and the door of research, the door of centralization of authority. And the third, to run the movement, you need an institution of a finance institution that could be independent of the government, because government will never allow you to stand and use money against its own institution. So the institution of finances should be independent, so that the movement should be independent of the government machinery. And that the one which Shias have and our Sunni brothers they do not have is Qumus. And the last of all, which is the most important and the spirit of all any movement, is that there should be an institution that should excite, that should bring all fragments of the society to bring that heat and energy, the dynamics of a movement. And that is, in the Shiite world, the annual attendance in Karbala, observing Karbala every year from thousands of years, thousands of years. That is from right from the time of Bani Umayyah, when the first Majlis-e-Azha was institution was established by Mawlati Zainab Salamullahi Alayha and Imam Ali ibn Hussain Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. So this is an institution which only the Shias have. So such an institution which excites, accelerates any movement other than Shias, no other one has. So that is these are the striking features, and in the next episode inshallah we will continue from hereafter. Till then, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyaka al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala abahi fi hadhihi as-sa'ah wa fi kulli sa'ah waliyan wa hafidha wa qa'idan wa nasira wa dalilan wa 'ayna hatta tuskinahu ardaka tawbah wa tumatti'ahu fiha tawila. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وسهل مخرجهم واحشرنا معهم وارزقنا شفاعتهم.